We're not going to show a movie. We are still here at Central Cinema, a movie theater in a town where it is not Phase 3, in a city that will not show Tenet. No, here we are in this beautiful Central Cinema, abandoned except for the ghosts of the people who watch The Room. And I am here because we would like to give you a little more than just the Thursday movies. We'd like to give you a little bit of extra fun during the week. So we're going to try this. And like many a thing we try, I'm sure it will evolve as we go with things like graphics and sound effects. But for today, you get low rent just trying things. We are going to do a couple of things for you. First, we will have a mini game that you may play along with in the chat or at home and see how you do. Second, I will recommend a film for you that we cannot show on the big screen with Baron-tastic and stream into your home because it is one that we would have to pay for. And we, as you know, are of course mining the depths of public domain. And I will answer any questions that may have been submitted by you, the viewer, prior to this episode at the end. Okay, so here is how the mini game works. Welcome to the Baron-tastic mini game. Graphics, begin! Okay, I don't know. All right, here we go as the game. As you know, during these films, I like to get up and unpack with you what has happened in the movie to help you explain to you or to me what is happening, depending on the film, just to examine things and to make sure the terror is hitting home. So I will now do interrupts for films that we are not showing, and you have to guess the movie based on the information I am unpacking for you. Okay? So, for example, if I got up here and I said something like, okay, let us unpack this. Sydney is being chased by Ghostface, but she has lived, but all of her friends have died. That, of course, would be Scream 1, 2, 3, and kind of 4, depending on, like, 4 is like a split protagonist thing. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay. Here is the first film, and your clue is not the remake. That's your clue, not the remake. Oh, well, what terror we have here. For, of course, all the greatest killers have 3 names, as we all know, when you look at assassins and killers in history. And Charles Lee Ray is certainly a very deadly sounding name. I would not hire that guy for almost anything. If I saw that name, I'd be like, no. But there is Charles Lee Ray now, of course. And where is Charles Lee Ray? Inside someone's house, inside someone's doll. This cannot end well, but then again, it could just be that the doll has nothing inside, and Andy is a little bit, ugh. Let us find out if this is an easy movie or a difficult movie as we watch Child's Play. That's right, it was Child's Play, the first one, the first Child's Play, not the one with Aubrey Plaza, which, fun fact, that movie does not take place in the same universe as Parks and Rec. I got very confused. Okay, let us do a second film filled with terror. And your hint is balls. You know, in Terravania, I grew up around a farm, but now here I am in the Pacific Northwest. And as I look throughout the Pacific Northwest, I think to myself, this movie is supposed to be here, but it does not look like the Pacific Northwest. I've not seen like a mausoleum in the middle of nowhere in the Pacific Northwest. I've not seen just like these excessive amounts of funerals in the Pacific Northwest. And come to think of it, I have not seen very, very, very scary people who yell at small children in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, the boy's not small, but you get what I'm saying. He's a kid. Then again, we are in different times, so who knows? This movie was made long, long ago. So I guess I just don't understand what was happening back then. And maybe that was the norm back then. Maybe people didn't believe the kids when they said I was chased by this silver ball with the razor. Let us get back to more Phantasm. Directed by Don Coscarelli. Really nice guy. Very nice guy. Phantasm 1 and 2. Incredible. Let's do one more. See if you can guess this one. I'll just tell you. It's part of the Saw franchise. But which Saw? It's not the one that was delayed. I'm just telling you, I haven't seen, no one's seen the one that Chris Rock did yet. Okay. Here we go. Oh. What a tricky place to try to escape from. After all, there's dangers around every corner. Even the laundry room is dangerous. Will Andy be able to figure out how to get out of this incredible prison? And will Morgan Freeman embrace the inner peace once he is let free? To think the whole time Andy is searching for his exit, it was behind the poster of Rita Hayworth. This is the twists of a Saw film, which is why we have all been taken by the Sawshank Redemption. Oh, you don't think that's a horror film? It's written by Stephen King. Hello? Stephen King wrote it. It's a horror movie. Oh, people. It's a good Saw film. It's very, very good. It's the only one not to feature John Kramer in some way. Okay, and now we're going to do what I call the Baron Recommends. And this is what I recommend to you, a film that we could not show you, but I would totally show you if I could. I get, you know what, for this one, I'm going to recommend a film that is a very similar quality to a lot of the ones we've shown up here, but it is not public domain. So here we go. The film I'm going to recommend to you is partially based on a painting, but if I said it was a good film, you would feel misled. I'm going to recommend a film you can get at Scarecrow Video on a DVD called American Gothic. And here is what happens is a group of adults, not kids, but adults, they take their seaplane, and they're going to go on a little vacation, but the seaplane runs into trouble, and so they land on an island where they meet a very, very strange family with Rod Steiger and Yvonne DiCarlo as the patriarch and matriarch, respectfully, and their adult children who act like not adult children. These adults on the island are all very taken in by this very conservative family. They're very embraced in a warm, hospitable way, but also judged because some of them are clearly going to involve themselves in inappropriate behavior. So and all this time, by the way, one of the women is haunted by a big mistake from her past. Then the movie just goes crazy. And let me tell you, you're going to watch it and think like, what is going on? And then, like the last 15 minutes, you'll be like, what? Why is this? I thought the movie would be over at this point, but it keeps going and only getting weirder. So that's the one I recommend to you. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, but if you like the type of B films you've been watching with me, I think you would like that movie. And let's see. You know what? I'll do that. I'll do that one, and then I'll do one more, which I'll call. And if you want it a little bit harder, And we go for the weird B films again that are questionable in quality. And a little bit harder means for those that don't necessarily need to watch something that we can stream over the internet because they are regulations. In addition to, of course, the fact that we have to show public domain, many of them also say, and no boobies, and nothing too violent. Mostly no boobies. Violence they eventually don't get. But no boobies. Or as we call them in Terravania, boobies. Oh. Anyway, Society. Society, directed, I believe, by Brian Yunz. A very, very strange film, about 90 minutes long. And I say it's questionable content. Here's what's going to happen. You watch it. If you've not seen it, you watch it. And the first 30 minutes, you'll be like, wow, this is pretty good. I don't see what the problem is. This is very weird and entertaining. I want to see where this goes. And then the next 30 minutes, you'll be like, oh, this movie is just kind of like stalling. Now I see why the Baron was like, oh, well, it was good while it lasted. And then the last 30-minute happens, and it will ruin your life in the best of ways. But again, not for the squeamish. Those of you who are watching this stuff up here and like thinking like, I like this level of horror. Yeah, don't watch Society, okay? Mom, I know you're watching at home in Terravania. Society is not for you. But those of you who like your horror a little more twisted, Society is quite, the ending, twisted's a good word for it. Okay, and don't ruin things in the chat, but encourage them if you've seen it. Okay, so there we go. We've played a little game. I've recommended a couple of films for you to be terrified of. And at this point, I will now answer any questions that you may have submitted prior to this episode. Now, we came up with this idea like 30 minutes ago before we started filming. And we're putting it up like a day later, maybe, or maybe a week later. I don't know when we're putting it up, but there are no questions, so there you go. But if you submit them for next time, assuming we don't film a second episode right after this, if we do, I'll just tell you because I'm needlessly honest, I'll answer them. What do you want to know? It can be about Terravania, it can be about horror films, it can be about anything you want. But if it's specifically about the Baron or horror films, it'll be much more on topic. All right. Well, I've had a good time. I hope you have too. Thank you for taking part in this, in helping keep Central Cinema alive through these films of terror and death. Until then, don't forget to wear a mask. Otherwise they recognize you. Woo!